So what we have done yesterday we created one server, we installed Docker, we checked few things, right? So let me do a quick recap. So I've shared you this documentation, right? Where we have seen like starting from like why we are using Docker, what is microservice architecture and how it is going to benefit us with some diagrams. Okay, what is the problem in monolithic approach? We have also seen this problem, which is a very common problem where code works in the development machine, but then doesn't work in the production server. Now, how can you resolve it with the help of this particular architecture diagram, right? Where we will be creating a Docker file. With that, we'll create image. With that, we'll create container. Container, we will do the testing. Once the testing is done, we'll push it to Docker Hub. Once the Docker Hub is having the Docker image, staging server, development server, production server, everyone will use the same image. When they use the same image, right? So this problem will not come because developers will also use the same image. Production environment will also use the same image. So the code, whatever works in the development environment, it will be already tested in development environment before it is going to push to the production. So this kind of a testing environment will be very good and less error prone, right? Around 95% we can actually fix from this. So now for this particular thing to be done, the Docker file is nothing but a code. Sometimes you might also have to change Docker file. So once you change Docker file, you have to push it to GitHub repo and Jenkins will pull it, and then Jenkins will get the new Docker file. With this new Docker file, it will do the same task again. Every job will be having this job, okay, where it will push the job to like the image to Docker Hub. So this job which you can see, the testing job, staging job, production job, all these things, all these jobs are going to do what? It is going to create an image and push it to Docker Hub, okay, as soon as you change the Docker file. So we'll try to do this exercise, but little later. Before that, we need to just know some manual, some very basic task. Before you do Kubernetes also, you need to do very basic task, which you need to know Docker. Then later, we will anyway explain you how to create EKS cluster with the help of Terraform, right? We will do all those exercises, but just to have, before we go ahead and do deep dive, this is like some basic things which you should be knowing, okay? Let me... OT, you can stop your recording, not required. So stop your video. Let me stop. Okay. Let me remove the access of video on. Yeah. So now, here you see the node is there. I'm going to just start that, and we'll try to do some exercise, right? I've also explained you that there is a script which you need to write. Again, the script yesterday I have explained you that, okay, this is a shebang, this is log file, like a variable you are giving, you are touching a log file. That means you are creating a blank file, okay? Then this is a check function. I have explained you the reason why we have check function in place. Why? Because when you run this command, somebody need to check if this previous command is run successfully or not. So this is acting like a check status, right? The exit status of the previous command. So you will send it as an argument that will check if it fails. Okay, if this command is somehow getting error, it will identify. This check function is, the job of the check function is to identify if there is a previous command is a failure or not. Like this, you need to just do some steps, installation step, okay, which is there in this document, right? This document. I've explained you yesterday, like by opening this document, what are the steps are there. We are doing what? We are just keeping these steps rather than manually. We can write a shell script and do that. Okay, why exactly we will be doing? For the bootstrapping purpose, right? So that when you create a server, you should pass this user data script, which will configure the server with the Docker once it is pinned up. Okay, take this as an exercise. If Gaurav explained you this user data, you can do right away, okay, and it will work. If not, okay, anyways, we have a lot of exercises which will be coming in your way, where you will be using the user data script, okay. So we are, this is like we for Amazon AMI, not required. This is for Ubuntu, not required because we are using Red Hat. Then later, we have also done, we have also seen like how can you pull an image. Okay, what is this command to see how many images are there? Docker image ls we can run to see how many images are currently present. Okay, yesterday we have seen these things. And this is something called Docker Hub. Now I explained yesterday that, let me, yesterday I explained that there is something called Docker Hub, which is nothing but a cloud image repository, right? This is an image repo. Now in this image repo, what will be present? Images will be present. Which images? The Docker images are going to be present. So you, in your virtual machine, if you want to pull this images, okay, so you have to run a command called docker pull, right? So this image can be CentOS image, this image can be HTTPD image, this image can be Ubuntu image. Okay, so like whatever images are there, it will be present in Docker Hub and you can pull it. So let's see. Okay, we can go to here, Docker Hub. You click here. Docker Hub is a website where you all have to create your account. So click on this register button and click on create your account. Do not forget that. I'll just send you this link. Da, 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 da. Here is the /360. Right, I think this one. So hub.docker.com. This is your Docker Hub where you all have to create your account. Okay, so this hub is a place where you can create an image, push an image. So pulling an image, you all understood. Now what is push? When you want to push an image, okay, you need to have an account here. Pull, like you can do without an account also, like HTTPD. If I go, see, have you see HTTPD is there? A lot of people have downloaded it. Click on this, docker pull HTTPD. This is a command. We can copy this command, run it. It will pull. Suppose if you want a separate version, you can see there is a tag here. Okay, it will be showing you the default one. But then if you want to download something else, there are various tags are there, like this version. If you want to download this version, if you want to download 2.4, okay, if you just want to download 2, so multiple versions are there. If you want to download Alpine image, so these tags are nothing but giving the same functionality, which is Apache, but then different version, different operating system, different flavor. Okay, this is what you should be using. So now I can pull it, but then if you want to push, you need an account. Okay, pull is like you can do. If it's a public repository, you can pull it. For push, anyway, anytime you need an account for it. So we will do this exercise. Okay, complete exercise we have in our activity guide, which we need to do. So let's move ahead. So I am just showing you how to pull an thing. Okay, here in the screenshot, click on this copy button, docker pull hello world, and you can pull it. It's very easy. You can check Docker images to see that, okay, if image is downloaded or not once you pull the image. So how to delete an image? You can see docker RMI. This is a command you can run to delete an image. Okay, very easy. Once you delete an image, this is gone. You can either run this RMI command or you can run docker image RMI command. Okay, anything. This is the way you can actually delete or delete the image, right? Now, let me see. Okay, so let's run docker image. Okay, so now if you want to create a container out of the image, how will you create a container out of the image? We'll have to know that. Okay, so suppose these are images. Now you are pulling this image. Why you pull the image? To create a container, right? To create a container out of the image, so that you can run some file here. So if you are pulling an HTTPD image, okay, so that means you have some HTML file which you are keeping here, and you want your customer to access it, right? This is what is your demand. That's the reason you are pulling that image. So how to create a container? By running a docker run command. Okay. When you run a run command, you will be able to create a container out of the image. Now there is something called Docker process. So if you want to see what all are running containers are there, so you can run a command docker ps or container ls to see what are the running containers. If you want to see there are exited containers, some containers which are exiting. So if you want to see that exit containers, you can run this command docker ps -a or docker container ls -a. Okay, all these things we have done yesterday, so I'm not showing you again. Okay. Fine. So Docker RM, this is how you can stop the delete the container. Okay. So if you want to delete the container, you can run RM -f. It will delete the container, or just RM also will delete the container. But if you want to delete only the exited containers, okay. So I have explained you can run all the exited containers in one shot. You can run Docker container prune. It will delete all the exited containers. Okay. Docker image prune -a. What is the importance of this command? Yesterday I have explained you all. When you suppose your disk utilization is high and you want to delete the image to get the space, you can use this thing. Correct? This 1 minute, guys. Let me switch off. So when you see that there is a there's a disk utilization high, you can run this command to delete all the images which are not having container, right? So delete all images which are not having any container associated with it, right? This is the definition. So this is a very important command. A lot of times this will be asked in your interview. So now also we have understood this particular job related example yesterday. Okay, so this is just for giving you, as this Docker is a little bit command based thing. So I'm just giving you an overview so that we can go to the today little bit higher end commands. Okay. So now this is how you can delete image. Anyway, we know. Now let us understand how can we enter inside a container. Okay. So let us go and log into the server. Okay. Let's see. So putty. We'll open the putty and then we'll open server and load the server. Yeah. This is my server. So if you let us see if my Docker daemon is up or not. See, my daemon is up because I've ran check config, right? Okay, so Shiva Kumar is saying there is a separate channel where we have to I have to upload. Sorry, I think I missed it. B60 part 2 and yeah, I've given the document here. Fine, in this new channel. Cool. Cool. Now this is my daemon, right? Which is running daemon. Now this daemon, which you can see here, okay, is running. Now my Docker client will be able to work, will be able to talk to this daemon. Okay, so Docker D is nothing but D for daemon. So this is my client which will talk to this daemon and the task will be done. Okay, so Docker image ls, when I am doing, this thing is talking to this daemon and it is showing the images, whatever it is. So now I can see there are a lot of images here like HTTPD, Ubuntu, Hello World, CentOS, Tomcat. So multiple images are there. Okay, let us see if my containers are there or not. There is no container up. All the containers are killed. Okay, so now what I will do, I will try to prune. Okay, all containers are deleted. Now what I will do, I will try to prune the image also. So all the images will be deleted. So first delete the container, then delete the image. How much? See, 982 MB we have reclaimed. Okay, so my disk is again 6.6 GB. Availability is there, which is good, right? Now I don't have now any container running. I don't have any image running, and no image is there. Now let us create an image and go inside the image. Go inside. Let us download an image and let us go inside a container with the help of that image. Okay, so what we will do, we will try to download an image, or we will try to create a container directly. Okay, like docker run IT. I is for interactive pseudo terminal. Okay, means you are saying that I need an interactive terminal. What kind of terminal? A bash terminal. So Ubuntu is that image. So what it will do, it will download. Docker will tell the Docker daemon, go and download the image, because it will check first there is no image. So it will download the image and it will create a container and open a bash terminal. So if I run this command, you see, I will be inside the container. Here you see, I was in the server now, previously 1017. Now I'm inside the container. This is my container ID. Okay, I run this command and I am inside this container. Now, once I am inside this container, I can run some command to update the container. Maybe suppose I want to install Apache here. So how will I install Apache? I can write apt get, because this is an Ubuntu flavor. Okay, I have to write apt get install Apache 2. So when I am trying to do this, it is giving me error that unable to locate Apache 2. So what I will do, I will update the repository. So first it will update the repository. And then what I will do, I will install Apache. And you see now it is installing. It is asking yes or no. I will give yes, because it is asking total this much MB it will be using. So no problem. I'm okay to use this much MB. So okay, why? So what I am doing, I am installing things inside a container. Okay, my server is still a virgin, right? I'm not trying to change anything in the server, right? What I'm saying, my server is still a virgin. There is nothing which I am installing inside the server except Docker. Apache is not running in server. Apache is running inside a container. So that container is again a kind of a server, right? So this is my server, small server, where I am installing Apache, right? Now why it is Apache 2? Because in Ubuntu, Apache will be installed like Apache 2. 2 is for the version of the Apache. Okay, we are installing Apache 2 version. So now you see Apache is installed. How can you know that it is installed? Give -v. Apache CTL is a command line utility through which you can, if you give -v, it will show you the version of the Apache CTL. Okay. Now, if you want to start Apache CTL, like you can do this. When you give this Apache, see, it will be started. Okay, the process is started. If you want to stop, just give stop, and you see, gone. Start. See, started. Cool. So you can do Apache CTL start, Apache CTL stop. Whenever you do something, so these commands are being run where? Inside the container, not inside the server. You're running everything inside the container. Now, once you see here your processes are running, that means you are running here the process. Okay. Now, if I exit out of this container, like I will do exit. Now what will happen? You see, Docker container ls. See, the container was running previously, but it is now killed. See, it is now killed, exited. Now, this is bad, right? I started the container, but then it is killed. What I will do, I will start the container again. Docker start. Okay, a killed container I can start by using a command called start. Here you see it is started. Now you just run container ls. It will show you running containers, right? Container ls is for running container, ls minus a is for all. So this is showing you the running container. It is started. A name is also being assigned to it, some random name. Yesterday we have seen how can we assign a good name to it, right? See that video. Okay, for now, if you want to go inside this container, how will you go? You will run a command docker attach this. Once you run a command docker attach this, you will be able to go inside a running container. Again, see, I'm again from this prompt to I'm inside this prompt. Let's see if my Apache is running or not. Not running. Okay. Can anybody tell me why it is not running?
Because the container is exited, right?
Container was exited, so I have not run check config. So whenever I'm starting it, it means I'm starting it like an EC2 machine. And then it is not, there is no check config there. So that's why it is not starting up the Apache automatically, right? So now again, you will start. Okay, so once you start, here you see process is up and running. Now, if you want to come out without killing the container, my container is up and running. I want to keep this up and running only. I want to come out without killing the container. So I have to write control PQ. Okay, control PQ. Here you see in this document, everything is mentioned, like how to install an Apache. Activity 1, we will use this option, apt-get update, and then we are installing the Apache, and then we are exiting. Okay, or we can start the process and exit. Once we do that, we will see that this is killed. Now we will start the process of the container, the one which we have done. Now, once you did this, you have to do docker attach, and docker attach can go inside the container and you can still see the things. But then if you come out of this attach mode, okay, by exit, it will again kill the container. So that the container is not killed, you have to run this command control PQ so that this container will not be killed. Now see, it is still up and running. So interview
it
question.
means if it will backend, it will run, right?
Yeah, right. So it is running in the background, this particular container. So interview question, how can you come out of a container? How can you log into a container without, and then when you exit, it should not be killed automatically. Okay, so you should be saying control PQ. But then remembering control PQ is like very difficult. So the easiest way is to execute a bash shell. Always say this command. Okay, so there is a difference they will ask you in interview. What is the difference between docker attach and exec? Okay, docker attach is going to attach to the server, the container. Exec is to execute something in the container, right? So what I am executing, see again, I am executing this bash inside the container. When I am doing it, I am again inside the container in the bash shell in an interactive way. Now what I can do, I can still see my Apache is up, right? But if I now come out of the container, like control D or exit, you will see that my container is still up and running. So this is a good way. Okay, so very small command. Okay, docker exec. If you see
here, actually the container should exit it, right? Why it's still alive?
I told you, right? When you run exec, that means you are executing a bash shell inside this container. So you are executing from bash shell. This shell you are exiting, not that will not kill the container. So this is the way
we can use docker run -it, right?
No, run will create new container.
Okay, when creating itself only, if you like interactively create, it will not exit it, right? Forever.
But then you have to go to, you will not keep your laptop or server up and running every time, right?
Okay. But in real time, when it comes to real time, like for high
real
availability
time
times,
is this. Real time is that real time what you will do, you will only use two commands. Docker run to create the container. Docker exec to log into the container and exit. Okay, these are the two commands only you will use. Docker run to create, Docker exec to log into the container. Never use
-d
detach.
also, right? Like detachable mode something.
That is separate. We will come to that later. So what is Docker attach? We will not use. But then why are we studying Docker attach? Because in interview they will ask you. Am I making sense? Okay.
Yes, Rahul. Yes.
They will ask you the difference. Okay, what is the difference between attach and exec? So you have to say attach is again the same thing. It will log into the container. But then when you exit from the container, what it will do? It will kill the container. Okay. It will kill the container. It will kill the container unless we give PQ. But then remembering this is very difficult.
Control PQ and Docker exec are same, right?
Yeah. But then Docker execute is not just for this. Docker execute means to execute. Exec means execute. You are executing. This is kind of a workaround you are doing. Okay. What are you doing? You are executing a bash shell inside this container. You are doing all these tasks in that bash shell. Now, once you execute, you will only execute from this bash. It's like, suppose I am here. Okay, now I will run bash. See, I run bash. I am in a bash shell. Now, if I exit, okay, again, see, I am in this only. Am I clear? Now, if you exit, see, you will come to EC2. But then previously what happened? I give bash one more time. I will switch to root. I'm coming here. Now, when I give bash, I'm in from this shell to I go to another bash shell. Now, when I do exit, I'm not coming out of my root user. I'm coming out from that particular just bash shell, the previous bash shell. It's layer upon layer. Am I making sense? Okay. So when it is the beauty of Linux. Okay. What you are doing, you have Linux shell. You can actually have one more shell here. Above that, you can have one more shell. Above that, you can one more shell. So if you exit from here, you will come here. If you exit from here, you will come here. And again, if you exit from here, then only you will be out. Am I making sense? So that is why you are using execute. So now you are executing bash. Tomorrow you can also execute a shell script here. Understood? Don't execute bash. Execute a shell script. Execute this particular. Remember I told you about that Google thing? Execute that Google shell. That Google search engine. This one. Python this thing. Here. Anything you can execute in a running command. In a running container, if you want to execute something, you will be using exec. Attach is for going inside the container, attaching to the container. Ideally, you should use attach, but then you are not using attach because that is having disadvantage. You have to, there are more click events there, like control PQ, more you have to type. And it is like many people will forget that. And if you forget, you will kill the production container. I killed it personally. And what happened? Outage happened. Okay. It was just 1 minute of outage, but then still. Okay. So do not use attach for interview and only for interview. I'm explaining you. Okay, they ask this common interview questions are there from Docker. Okay, fine. So we'll go down. Stop, start, attach, exec. So I explained you start, attach, exec, 3 commands, right? Stop is like very easy. When you can start, you also know that there is stop also. Correct? Like Docker PS, this is running. If you want to stop it, just write Docker stop. Yes, it will stop the container. It's like shutting down the virtual machine. Right? Here you see, you can do now. Here, stop, start, same thing. Here. Okay. Now, okay, this is done. Activity 3. Okay, so activity 3, coming out of the container, as I told you, you can use PQ to come out of the container without killing it. Correct? Okay. Now inspect. Let us see this. This is like very important. Okay, you should know when should you use inspect. Okay. So now I'll give you a scenario. Let's take this scenario. Scenario is okay. Scenario is you have a you have a container. That container is somehow creating some issue. You deployed something here, means you as a developer done some code change, and then we DevOps engineer deployed somehow in this container the new URL file, suppose. And once you do that deployment, okay, your customers are getting some error. This customer is getting an error message. Something happened. Now your manager is asking you, boss, check the log file. Take a backup of the log file of this container. Send the log file to the developer, because developer will not have access to the server. Developer will say, give me the log file. So how will you give them the log file? You have to give the log file to the developer so that they can check the error and they can fix the issue. Right? Now, how will you give this log file? So inspect is like a metadata of container. Means metadata of a container means what? What is my metadata? My name is Rahul Chaudhary. I am this. And what is your metadata? Your name is this. Your employee ID and other things, like your data about that particular container. So when you run docker inspect container grep, you can write -i IP address, right? -i for in case sensitive. That means it will not be case sensitive. You are just filtering out this IP address. You can write full or you can just write iPad, nothing but, and you see here IP address you got. Similarly, suppose if you want to search for log, you see log you got. So docker inspect will give you lot of data in a JSON format. See, this lot of data is there. Okay, which driver it is using. It's about the whole data about that, which image it is using. Okay, what is the host name path, config path, log path. Lot of data is there. Not
Can we get
all
log
data is
details as well
important.
here, Docker?
Sorry.
Can we get the log details as well if container goes wrong, something like with the to debug?
Yeah, correct. That is the main reason you will be using this. So now your developer is asking you the log path. This is the log. So what you do, you take a backup of this BKP. Right? Take a backup of this. And now what you do, you can kill the container. If suppose for some reason you have to kill this container, you can still kill the container. You will not get the path. Okay, let's kill the container. So I kill the container. So my path will be gone. See, no such file. when you kill the container, but you need the log file, because this log file is the file which you need to give it to your I did a mistake. I took the path backup in the same path. Okay, this path will be deleted, so you should take it in the some other path. Okay, but then you will get this backup file, log file, and give it to your developer, and developer will check it and fix the issue. Clear? So this is
from our end, how can we troubleshoot from our end? For example, something was wrong with container.
You will have to see the log file, right?
But we should troubleshoot from our end, right? Root cause we need to find out, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This container is causing some error. Okay. So where will you find out? There are multiple ways. It can be a network error. Okay. It can be an application error. Okay. So for now, I'm giving you a scenario where developer is saying, I have a problem. He deployed something. You know that there is a recent deployment. It was all working fine, but there is a recent deployment happened. So what you will do? You will open the log file, check the log, and you will give it to the developer. Or you check the log file, like what exactly the error is coming. In that error file, whatever you get, suppose that will be PHP error. So that PHP error will be fixed by developer. Give it to him, and he'll fix. In this case, now there can be other cases also. Like this particular container is not opening from outside. But that can be a network error. This container is working, but then there is no memory in the server. In the virtual machine, there are a lot of containers running. There is no free memory. So this container is not getting free memory. So you have to bump up the server. There is no CPU. You have to bump up the CPU. So that is all troubleshooting. That requires that you have to go check. Correct? Am I making some sense? So are you all understood what I'm saying? That there are multiple containers. But start with, when you do troubleshooting, you have to start with something, right? You have to understand what is the issue. Okay, issue is that slowness. Issue is not at all page opening. What is the exact problem that you need to understand first? Clear, right?
Yes, Ram.
Okay. Okay. So I'm just giving you some basic things. Okay, we will try to create some scenario. We'll try to do. This is what it is. Okay, so that is inspect. You'll try and get the log file. Try to see the log file. Troubleshoot the issue. Give it to the developer. Do whatever you want, but fix the issue. But then inspect is for getting the information about the container. Now let us see the detach mode. Someone was saying detach mode, right? Let us see detach mode. Now what is detach mode? Okay, here you see, whenever we are running in an attach mode like run IT, we are going inside the container. But then I don't want to go inside the container. I am very sure that whatever I will be doing, it is okay. My container is ready to use. Mostly in company, in real time, we will be running things in detach mode. We don't like doing things in an attach mode. Okay, means it should be all automated. Your container should be in such a way, image should be in such a way that, okay, I will just run it. That's it. I don't have to go inside the container and do something. That is not at all recommended or acceptable behavior of an image. So you should create an image in such a way with the help of, what are the two raw materials for image? Docker file plus artifact, right? So you should create the image in such a way that this image you will directly deploy as a container and it is ready to use, right? In a detached mode. So you will generally use in company detached mode only. How can you use detached mode? With -D. Let me show you one example. Suppose you want to run this script, this particular command, That can be script, that can be command. You want to run this command in CentOS image. Okay. How many times? 30 times. In a background. That means you don't want to go like we did in run IT. It went inside the container. I don't want to do that. I just want to run it and then it will be running in background. So I'll copy this command and I will try to run this command. Just make it 30 to 100. Okay. So now what is happening? See, it is downloading the CentOS image. Okay. Because CentOS image is not there, and then image is created, and now I'm back in the Linux prompt. I'm not inside the container prompt. So if you see here, Docker PS, so you see your image is already, container is already running. So now you can check the log file of this container. How can you check? There is one way, as I told you, Docker inspect. There is another way, Docker logs -f. You can use this, and it will show you, see, the logs of the container. But then you want to see only the last 10 lines of the container. Okay, those who are not talking, please be on the mute. Okay. Kiran Kumar, I muted you. Let me remove the unmute access. Okay. So now, if you want to mute yourself, please raise your hand and I will be giving you unmute. Okay. I can ping in the chat window. So now Docker logs -f --tail 10 this container ID. So when you give this, see, last 10 lines will be shown to you. So this is generally in real time, we will be using this command. Which command? Docker logs -tail, something like this. So tail is a very important. You don't want to see the hell lot of things. You want to see only the last 10 lines. This command will be so helpful for you all. Like I'll give you one scenario. Think a customer is getting an error message. This customer is getting an error message while he is trying to access the container. He is trying to access, suppose, LWPLabs.com, but then he is getting error. So what will you tell the customer first? Is getting, suppose, some error. So the first thing which you will be asking your customer, or you will test, is you will type this $your. Remember, I explained you all cache buster. You will be using something cache buster, like maybe you will use Rahul. And then what you will do, you will search in this logs, okay, grep Rahul. Okay, when you do this, it should show you. Okay, now it is not showing anything. Why? Because my 100 time is done already, and my container might have closed because I was actually running one command 100 times. That's why this was running for 100 seconds. Now, once the task is done, this task will be done. Okay, the container is task-based technology, right? So this task is getting run, so that till that time this container will be up. Once that task is over, container will be killed. You also have to know now, sir, how's that? That is like a very bad thing, right? You might think, right? I have a server, this is doing some task, till that time it will be up, and after that it will be killed automatically. If that is so, then I can never run a website here, because if I run a website, it will be killed, right? This customer will never be able to open it. So we will try to see that how can you make the container always up and running. Okay, but container is meant for some task to perform as and when required. Once the task is over, it will be killed. That's the behavior of the container. Okay, the task will be done. You give the task, it will spin up, it will do the task, and then done. It will kill itself. Why it will kill? To give back the resources. It doesn't want resources. So Kiran, you're asking -C 100. It is like for count 100. This is just a command, ping command. What I am doing, I am pinging this IP. How many times? 100 times. Where I am pinging this IP? Inside this container, the container which will be created. So if I run this, see now it is running in the background. Now if I do Docker PS, again it is running. How many times how much time it will run? For 100 seconds. So I can check the command docker logs -f -tell 10 this. If you do see it, you are able to see the log file last 10 lines, and then it is increasing. See, you are able to see that, okay, this is getting pinged 27, 28, 29. Can you see? It is every second it is. So how many seconds it will do? 30 seconds, 100 seconds. And then it will be killed automatically. Okay, so the task you have given to this command is saying that, okay, run a container with this image and do this task based. Okay, so now we have to build some architecture in which everything should be up and running. That we will do in our project. We will be doing. Okay, for now I'm just showing you, like, this is the concept you have to understand. Okay, I have to do some task. For how much time? For this much time. Okay, fine, I'll create a container, I'll kill it. Okay, this is the good thing, not a bad thing. Just trying to explain you that. So yeah, fine. So docker ps -a will show you all the containers. Okay, anyway, once that is done, docker logs -f, I have explained you, it will show you all the log. But if you want to see only the last 10 logs, this is what you have to do. Okay, this particular command is very useful for debugging. Like a scenario, this customer is trying to type lwplabs.com Rahul. You will, this particular cache buster. Okay, you can ask your customer to use a cache buster. Or if suppose your interviewer is asking, my web application is running in a container. My customer is trying to access that particular website, but he is getting an error message. How will you troubleshoot? Okay, so you have to tell them that, okay, I will ask my customer to give a cache buster with his name. And what I will do, I will go to the server and I will try to grep the logs, right? Grep the logs of that particular container ID, right? With that particular cache buster. What is cache buster? Rahul. So once I do that, if the entry is coming, that means the request is coming till the container. If the entry is not coming here, that means the request is somewhere here only, stuck. Maybe it is an issue from a Cloudflare. Maybe it is an issue from a load balancer. Maybe it is an issue from a Google Chrome side. Means from the user Google Chrome only problem, client side issue. Okay, we need to understand that where exactly the issue is. Okay, so the first thing which I will be asking my customer is to go and do this. So your interviewer will be very happy. Okay, because he might not have heard about this kind of, he might know, but he might not have heard this answer. He must not be expecting this answer from you. Okay, so if you tell that, that will be like giving more chance for you to be selected. Okay, in real life we will do like this. Okay, now with this small exercise, I'm giving you all examples. Okay, in other batch, people are, where I am teaching, they're writing a notes. Okay, very good notes, which I liked. I'll show you. This is how you should also write your question answers. Yesterday I taught the same thing to B55. So there is a guy called Rahul there, and he is doing so good. See what he did. He put all the question answers, like how to pull Ubuntu image, how to run Docker Ubuntu image, how to access, how to install, how to check the logs, Docker log command, network log details to inspect commands. See all the detailed reason he has written from the one session. So you should also have a habit to do this, so that it will be good. You know that, okay, in this session, this many topics are being taught. So when you go for interview, you can make that fast. Okay. Okay, it's 1 minute, man. Guys, I have to take one call. 1 minute. Okay, so now here you see we will now see something called port mapping. This is very, very important to understand something called port mapping. Okay, so let us understand in a proper way. Why am I not able to open new? Don't save. So port mapping. So port mapping says what? So let us have a scenario where this is my customer. There is a server, which is this server. This is this server, virtual machine. It is a VM. Okay. So now I have to run a container. So I will be running container in this particular server. This container is created with the image. Suppose there is a Docker hub. Okay. In Docker hub, there is an image called HTTPD. And this particular container is created with this image. Okay. So HTTP runs at which port by default? 80 port. Okay. So this container is exposing this 80 port. But this customer, when he is accessing the URL, he will give suppose LWPLabs.com. This LWPLabs.com will be mentioned in the DNS that 3456 means LWPLabs.com, right? So when he hits the domain http://lwplabs.com, it will go to which port by default? 80 port. How this particular domain will be identified with this server? By this DNS, where this server, this name means this IP. So finally, it will try to search this IP, this public IP somewhere in the internet. So this VM is having this public IP. So what it will do, it will come all the way from this to this. Fine. So it is coming at which port? 80 port. Now this 80 port is a port of a container of a virtual machine. I'm given unmute access. It's a virtual machine port, right? Virtual machine port. How many ports are there in total in any server? 65,535. Now this is also like a server. I told you all that this is also a server with having private IP, Docker server. Okay, this will also have this many ports. Okay, if there are 200 Docker container running, all container will be having this many ports in this server, right? But then when the request comes from here to here at this port, you need to map this port with this container. That bind should be done. This is called port mapping. Okay, this binding of the host port with the container IP and container port. Am I clear? When you bind the host port with the container IP and the container port, that is called port mapping. Till this, everyone clear? Who is not clear with this?
Yeah, Rahul, it should be same or it can be different port.
It can be different also. It seems like if you have attended, those who have attended laterally started from Terraform and all, and then those who have not attended the previous, the part 1, okay, like there are B62 2 are there, right? Part 1, part 2. So if you have not attended the part 1, which is like the fundamentals, you might not understand. You might. So if you all know proxy. So remember, we have studied, those who have joined from the very beginning, proxy. This is kind of the proxy only, right? So what it is doing, it is coming here to this particular port, and that port is now mapped with this particular. So it is doing the proxy to the container. Okay, where Docker proxy will be used. So similarly here, you don't have to understand Docker proxy, just understand that this is called port mapping. Port mapping. What? When you map the host port to container IP and port. Correct? This is called port mapping. So now we'll go to document again. So there are two kind of port mapping, one with capital P, one with small p. Here you see small p, capital P and small p. So capital P is where you are giving this task to Docker. Docker will assign any network port of host between this range and map with the container port. So any range it will use, Docker will use any of this range from the host and map it with container. That is capital P. So if I suppose run this command, Docker run, I'll not use Tomcat, but I will use suppose HTTPD. See now what is happening? It is using capital P and it will map something. Now you see Docker PS. See this particular 80 port of the container is mapped with this port. This is again in the range of 32,000 to 50,000. So what you do, you open the security group, okay, for this particular port from 32,000 to 50,000 for all. If you open that, what you will do, you copy this public IP colon, you can give this port number, right? Now you see it is showing you it works. Why it is showing you it works? Because it is taking it from the container. The container is this one. So it is going to this container and going to this coming to this particular server, the virtual machine, going to this port and then mapped with this particular port, the container port.
But
And then
container port we have not mentioned right here.
We don't have to mention. Container is created with the image. In that image, when you study Docker file, right? I will show you. There is something called expose. You will expose the port number. You will say that, okay, Apache will run at 80 port. Okay, I will expose only 80 port. That is a security group of a container. Okay, so see this is also one server, right? If virtual machine have a security group where you can open the containers for the outside world, even this is a virtual machine kind of thing. This will also have the security group, na? Which security group? Not the AWS security group, but the Docker security group. That is being done through the help of Dockerfile. You'll see that. For now, you just see that, okay, I have exposed only 80 ports. Clear? 80 port. And then it will come here. Because this is a seeded image. So when whoever created this HTTPD image, he exposed only 80. So that is why you are able to touch only 80. This will not change. Only this will change. Now let's create one more. Again, I am running. See, now two containers will be running. One with this, one with this. Both are pointing to same port. See, but this is like different. This is different container. This is different container. So both the containers are running HTTPD at 80 port. Container port is same, but then host port is different. Run one more time. You will see that there are three containers running in three different. So see, you can run multiple Apache in one single server running in different ports. Clear? This can be for Flipkart.com. This can be for Snapdeal. This can be for LWPLabs, something like that. Three different containers running for three different ports. Okay. Understood? Here I am giving 80, but you can delete this 80 to some other port also, like this 3277. So this is dynamic because we are giving capital P. But then we will now give small p. And we'll say, okay, 80 equals to 80. You're saying that, okay, now host port will be 80 and this is also 80. The container is also 80. I'll give a name also to this particular. Okay. port and container. Okay, like not this random name, but I will give Apache. Once I done this, now it is giving me an error saying that bind
This
address
port is
already in
been
use.
used. Yes.
What does that mean? How to troubleshoot this issue? Tell me, guys. It is saying my port is already been used.
Telnet command you can use, right?
Okay.
Or a let's start.
Who wants to fix this? I'll give the access to that guy. Tell me the name. I'll give access, fix it. In interview, I do this. I ask the whoever is giving candidate, give access to the server, and I give this error and I ask him to fix. Who wants to fix? I am getting this error. I want to run this command, but I want somebody to fix this issue. Who is in laptop? Who can control my system and fix this issue? Raise your hand, guys. Be sporty. Even if you are not able to do, I will fix. Nah, just help. Means at least go ahead.
Yeah, I can. Rahul.
What is your name?
Kiran.
Okay. I gave Kiran you access. See. Take the access and do fix it. So all of you guys see how Kiran is fixing this.
Yeah, like this is already is there, right? It's running. It's listening one port.
So fix it. I want you to fix.
Yeah, we can change the port. Another 82.
We can't change the port. That is not the fix.
Okay.
I want this command only to run. You found that this particular thing is listening. 635 port is running here. No. So how will you fix this? Stop the Apache, right? Stop the Apache. Whatever is running, just check. PS minus EF grep 635. Right? You will check this 635. You are seeing that okay, Apache is running.
Yes.
What you will do, you will service httpd stop. Once you do stop, now what you do, you again run the command. Once you run the command, again there is another error coming. Read this error. This time it is not giving bind address issue. It is giving some other error. It is saying container name Apache is already in use
Hey,
by
HTTPD, we already created name Apache. We need to use Apache 1 or something.
So no, this is not fix again.
Okay.
Fix is, I want to run the same command. Don't do this in interview. The interviewer will be panicking and he will give you bad rating. He wants to run this command. Don't tell him I will use another name. That's a workaround you are doing. That you are not fixing.
We can delete the existed one, right?
Right. So you have to say that, okay, I will do this. I'll find the Apache because that was failed previously. Okay. And I will kill that container. And I'll run this. Now this is the fix. Now Docker PS, you see Apache is running.
Yes.
Now at 80 port only. So now what? How can I see this if it is working or not?
Curl IP of
I will get the public IP. I'll go here. I will not use this port. I'll use 80 port. 80 means nothing, right?
Yes.
Even if you give 80 or nothing, doesn't mean something. So you just give the IP, you see it is working. Now your interviewer might ask you one more thing. Go and change this from it works to it never works. Okay, interviewer will ask you to do this. Change it to it works to it never works. So how will you do? You will go here, you will do docker exec it, use this bash. You will go to htdocs. This is your file where you have the index.html. Okay, open this file. When you're trying to open, you're not able to open this. That means what you have to do apt get update, and you have to install that. Okay, what? Vim. Okay, you install the Vim, and now what you do, you open the file and you type here, it never works. Save it and go here and refresh. And this is your task done. Okay, so this kind of interview questions will come in your, this is like pretty simple interview. Okay, but this kind of interviews also be there now, because people are doing a lot of fake. They are taking proxy, fake interview, this many things. Okay, so they will ask you these things, okay, to do. Okay, cool. It's 12:40. Let's meet tomorrow with some other exciting thing, which is we will be doing called as volume mapping. Okay, so we have done till date port mapping. We'll have to do volume mapping. So we'll do tomorrow that. Thank you. Let's meet tomorrow. Bye.
Thanks, Rahul.